Good morning, students. Good morning, students. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we all know that we are all here for a webinar. So this is the time to start the section. I request you everyone to mute your calls. Okay. So before starting, let me go with a welcome speech. Jai Shri Krishna. A very good morning to everyone present here. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you for joining this webinar on impact of COVID in banking business. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome our honorable speaker, Dr. M. Karthikeyan sir. Dr. M. Karthikeyan completed Masters in Commerce and received Doctorate in Finance. He published many research articles in journals and edited books. He is teaching commerce since 2009. Currently, he is teaching commerce at Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. I now welcome Dr. B. Vijay Kumar, sir, head of our department, and our assistant professors, Mr. B. Shivakumar, Dr. R. Sangeeta, Ms. Kalyana Sundari, Ms. S. Vidya, Ms. S. Sharada Bhavani, Ms. Uma Maheshwari, Dr. Tilagavati, and my dear students. Without any further delay, I would like to start with the events. We could be delighted to have your suggestions and questions at the end of the event. I now request Dr. Karthikeyan sir to preside over the webinar. Thank you, sir. You can now start your session, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for a wonderful welcome address, ma'am. And thank you, Vijay Kumar sir, for giving me the opportunity. So, before getting into the topic of today's session, we'll just get into a small thing, a knowledge sharing. Okay. Now, how many of you use the facilities provided by the banking services through online? Use your chat box to post your answer. Is the chat box enabled, ma'am? Right. How many of you use the services which are rendered by the banks which you are using? Yes, students, you can just interact because after this we'll be having a monoplay. I'll be displaying the presentation and it will be shared with you, and you will be viewing that alone, and I'll be sharing the words. Right? You can just interact. What are the services? Some services will be used by you for booking online using Paytm, mobile with, or internet banking. Right? Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah, very good, Adi Keshaman, using GPay and net banking.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So today's session we are going to see about this only. Actually, we would be using all the facilities before COVID itself. So after COVID, what happened? Okay, that is what we are going to see today. Um, all right. So we would be using these methods or services which is provided by banks before COVID itself. And what happened? What has changed after COVID? We independently depend on those services which rendered during the period of time, after the period of time. Because whenever we start a progress, we know the banking services, what which banks render, they accept the deposits and lend money. That is what the banking services is. And during COVID time, we cannot get outside, we cannot make payments, or we cannot get payments. It was a critical situation which happened in the business areas. To overcome that, we had a lot of facilities like e-deposits. Okay, so we had e-deposits, we had e-checks, NEFT, RTGS, and so many things we have overcome in that pandemic situation. We depend on that during the situations, right? So first we'll get into the slide. Before getting to the slide, I just want to say some basic introduction, and then I'll go to the topic, right? So first of all, what is a banking? Currently, the Banking Situation or a Banking Regulation Act of India, 1949, defines what I had said: accepting deposits and lending money. Yes, withdrawal of money by check or draft, and nowadays we use all the facilities. This was a old one, and currently we use many methods of depositing. We deposit through CDM machine. Okay, we transfer money from others accounts through EFT. So that is what the current trend and current development in banking scenarios, right? So another thing, the check is being going to be avoided or going to be stopped from the services, because we currently use e-checks, right? E-checks are being used for operations. So this is what the phases of banking banking sectors. So from when to when bank is started, initially it is a basic thing. This you would have learned in your subject, and just a recall I'm giving it off, right? 1786 to 69, it was the first phase, started with the small banks. They offered small services, rendered small services, and after the nationalization, during the period of 1969 to 91, the banks were regularized, and RBI came into force, and they started to regularize the activities, right? And after that, in 1991, more efforts on banking, or many business depend upon the banking sectors, lead to the growth of the banking scenarios, right? So now we are getting into the topic of today's. So what happened during the period of COVID, right? So many countries were suffered during the period of COVID, phase one and phase two. It can be said, totally they have wasted a large number of human resources, and they have spent more and more money on health services. We know that a banking is a place where we deposit money. Yes, during that period of time, there is no business has happened. All the countries were influenced with the virus, right? So still now we are in the pandemic only. We have not yet overcome in that. So in that impact, many things has been spoiled, like economic growth, employment opportunities. Many were affected with COVID, and many were dead, right? So in that situation, no business or no activities has happened. But at that situation also, banks relied on them, their work, because they have to contribute some financial things to the country. Okay, so they have to give some financial aspects. Okay, they have to take some care. So on the account, banks worked during the COVID-19 situation. And after that, during the period of the May month or March month, we had a second wave, right? So during the period, there was a large number of affecting, and many things happened. We have to give money for medicines, right? We have vaccination. So how come the vaccination has been created? How the country gave free vaccination to the citizens of our country, right? They created a funding from World Bank. After getting that, they have given many free vaccinations to overcome the pandemic situations. And during the situation of 2019, there was a large amount of money was invested in healthcare sectors. And also during 2021 also, there was a large amount of investment made in the health service sector. So from where it has been created, okay, the services which are rendered by the globally operating markets like corporates, okay, under the humanity grounds, they have processed. Many countries were affected in a larger way. So during the pandemic situation, no one realized how we are overcoming, or how will we get over the situation. But the country have took a lot of efforts in the financial sector, and they have given many promises to the citizens of the country to overcome the problems and solutions, right? Crises also represent an opportunity for emerging of new services or the development of existing ones. Okay. So this made the change due to the COVID situation. We get into a new aspects which has existed in the current scenario, like getting online purchases, online meeting, okay, online services, and also online banking also. So we all get into an online world. That is what a digitalized world has been happened. Because if I want to deliver some lecture, I would have traveled to your place and I would have delivered a lecture over there. But in current scenario, I'm sitting in one place and you're sitting in another place. You can listen to my lecture, right? That happened because of digitalization. So this is an advantage which we get after COVID. So COVID has given a lot of problems, but we have got many solutions. Many things happened after the COVID situation. So likewise, banking sector also got many developments in the situations. The Reserve Bank works for the strengthening and supervision framework of both banking and non-banking sectors. So they want to maintain qualitative and quantitative assessment process in the banking areas. So they have given an interactive thing for getting over this pandemic situation. They have integrated a supervisory function meant for different supervisory entities. So there are many entities comes under the banking sector, not only single thing. Without the banking sector, they can any each and every business need a banking sector. Without the help of the banking sector, we cannot move anywhere. So that was the situation happened. So RBI has taken much more care on all the activities, all the entities to overcome this pandemic situation. They were given special care in the overall aspects of the business carried during the period and after the period, right? So they were given many suggestions, approvals, approaches, how to overcome the pandemic situation to the business sectors. And currently, the revenue of these sectors play the flow of money, fund flow. Okay, so you know very well, without a fund flow, any organization cannot run. How about your country? So overall fund flow is monitored and controlled by RBI, right? So they have to take some technical efforts to overcome this pandemic. They have given lots of suggestions. They have overcome many problems and queries, and they have rectified it. And according to that, many changes has happened, like getting into a digitalized world, using a NEFT RTGS more than the period. So we can split it into two. One is post-COVID and after COVID. So post-COVID, the RTGS, how much of number of RTGS was made, and after COVID, how the business is. Around in 2019, 20, 21, 19, there was around 60 to 60 percentage of performance was made through online. And at the 2020, there was only 35 percentage of convenience made through online banking. And during 2000, still September or August, we have received a survey that only 62 percentage. Okay, so before and after COVID, we have reached a little bit as change, exactly a value. So 2019 also we have got 60 percentage, and 2021 also we are crossed 60 percentage, and we are going to a growing stage. So which says that we are taking more and more efforts in converting our business into online. Okay, so how come we can get into an online? We have to depend upon the latest trends. Okay, so this latest trends would be used prior COVID also, not new for you. It may be used prior COVID, and currently in this situation we rely on this. Okay, during the pandemic, the advent of digital technology, banking and financial services undergone massive shift in their mode of operation. This is what we are coming to say. Okay, all the businesses have emerged to digitalized. They are ready to use the digitalized. So it happened in the period of post COVID, and during this thing, several changes had happened in the banking industry. Yes, several changes have happened, and we can see that too. What and all. So first one is the digitalization, and next is mobile banking. So we can get the brief thing about this. Okay, digitalization, mobile banking, unified payment interface, blockchain, artificial intelligence, robots, fintech companies, digital only banks, e-checks, electronic clearance, that is ECS, electronic fund transfer, EFT, and automatic teller machine. So with the rapid growth of technology, digital services became an indispensable part of banking operations, as these institutions need to keep up with their changes and introduction innovation that made services convenient. In India, the initial phase of digitalization began in 1980s, when information technology was used to perform basic functions like customer service, bookkeeping, etc. Gradually, core banking services were came into force to improve the customer's expectation. Main shift came during the period of 1990s, when liberalization opened the Indian market to global world. Private and international banks which came into operation, boosting technology changes in the banking sectors. So during the period of time, we get into the online banking, IMPS, RTGS, daily banking enabled to avail banking facilities from anywhere. So this was the first thing which helped to overcome the pandemic. Next one is mobile banking. This is not a this is a small thing which was used by everyone, every businessman, to know the bank balances, whatever the check which is deposited by them, or it has been cleared, or whatever the availed balance in the bank account. So for this, they need a internet connection with a desktop or laptop, and that has been widely changed into smart mobiles. Right now, we use smart mobiles. So using that, we can know the details held in the banks. Okay, whatever the thing is, and moreover, uh, cheapest data charges are contributed to increase the usage of mobile banking. So we get a cheap, very cheap uh, data services, because during the period of 2000 or 2010, the data charges were very very high. But in current scenario, we get a data at a cheaper cost, so we can use the operations at a lower cost itself. So the next is a unified payment interface. This is what the current thing which we are using. Okay, that is what I asked before starting the session itself. So we use Google Pay, PHIM. That is what the government enabled payment system used for making out the payments in the online mode. Okay, so we have lots of methods like Paytm also giving providing banking services. Flipkart also came into force for providing banking services. Amazon is providing banking services, right? So all the online companies who are doing a business have came into force to provide banking services to their customers, right? So this was the very very vast change during the after the pandemic situation. So now we can make payment or we can receive payment through UPI with a code number which is which represent your account, right? So by scanning also you can pay, by sharing your number, phone number also you can pay, you can receive money, right? So it made very simple and very easy in the current situation. Next is blockchain. This is a method. It has been at the trial phase only. Okay, if it comes to force, many things will be changed. Many things will be changed as converted into digitalized thing, right? It will be taking care of all sorts of problems or rectifications regarding the fraudulent activities happening in the banking services. They provide a back support for RBI for getting into the this operation. So using this method, many companies are trying to get into the force. So, but it has been happening in the worldwide through cryptocurrency. You would have heard about it. So that is in the trial position in our country. They are going to get into force, and they are going to convert it all the methods under the cryptocurrency. So cryptographic method or cryptocurrency, it helps to get into the force in a shorter while. After that, all the banking services or currency notes will be denied. It may be denied, right? Or in an overnight, right? Next is artificial intelligence and robots. So I'm very glad to say that many companies, many industries, and are ready to use or ready to invest in the robotic areas. Likewise, many banks, private sector banks or nationalized banks, are ready to invest money in the artificial intelligence. Okay, so if you have any query, you can just chat with the robot. The robot will be giving the operations. They will be saying the operations. One of the main thing is, if time permits, I will share a video. It has been done in our CUB branch. It has been at the YouTube. Where they have created a robot to accept checks and say the balances, actual balance, what they have in their account. Right? So it was an innovative thing which happened in Union Bank. They have rendered a service before the COVID itself, but in current situation, it has been very much needed for the hour. And nowadays, you can just open your account, internet bank or mobile bank very easily. Before this COVID situation, we have to go to the bank, we have to give a letter, and we have to wait for a time. They will be giving a PIN number, and that PIN number is to be used for operations in the okay. So I'll share that video one minute. After that, we will go into the
How do I get net banking password?
To get the net banking password, please call our helpline 0088-132-2312 from your registered mobile.
Want to know your bank balance, interest rates on home loans, deferred payments, or possible charges incurred on fixed deposits closure? Well, Lakshmi can answer it all. Today on Do Big Stories, presented to you by Tata Docomo Business Services, we introduce you to Lakshmi, India's first artificial intelligence banking robot that can interact with customers on more than 125 subjects.
Customer needs a banker's mind only when certain level of decision making needs to be done. So in that way, we felt that this robot will be in a position to answer the questions asked by a common man when it is a basic question. About 100-125 questions are the standard questions asked by a typical customer. So we also try to list down what are all the 100-125 questions typically customers ask. The questions will be on, like, say, what is the deposit interest rate for this time period, whether you have branch in such and such place, where should I go and deposit this money. Similarly, on the different schemes of the branch. So we have selected such a type of about questions and all, and it will be continuously getting updated. Say, what if the customer, the robot is not able to answer the question if it is out of syllabus. So we said that robot will answer. Please meet the manager.
The Lakshmi has to be connected with the central data center. Anyway, through API, Advanced Programming Interface, all the data can be just transmitted from our central data center. Then it has to be routed through API. Then on top of the API, Lakshmi will act.
One day, what happened was that my daughter and son, they wanted to meet the robot. So the developer, he made that robot to give chocolate to the kids and all, which they were all very excited and all. At that point of time, one of my staff members said, "Sir, if it is able to hold the chocolate, it looks like it can even hold the cash."
Give me something, please.
The next process, like say, probably we have to make trial and error whether it could be sitting in the cash counter from the cash machine, whether it will be able to process the cash and give it to the customers and all. Our internal staff members and all were terrified, saying that whether it is going to reduce the number of persons available for the branch network and all. Basically, the individual staff members, he is freed from the repetitive mundane jobs again and again, and he is getting focused into more job where he can apply his brain.
Why? Because he is just like dancing or just acting the fingers and namaste. Some of the customers are surprised. I think your bank has implemented such a kind of things.
Next development is going to be on make it answer on the local language and all, and slowly after some time it will be linked with the core banking also, where like say if you swipe your card, so instantly it will get access to the your account information. It is as safe as it can be having to like say human staff member. There are certain amount of breaches which could happen on when you have a human element, but when it comes to the machine, so it will be having only one connection with the core banking at the branch level, and it is going to have a direct interaction with the client. It is not going to have any integration with the internet or any other external network. So it will be pretty safe. We will take 3 months to have a complete pilot from one branch. If everything goes okay without much problem, we can expect to see that at least at about 50 branches over a period of next 9 months to 1 year.
Earlier, at the time of just introduction of ATMs, all are just hesitating to just receive the money from ATM. Gradually, it came up in a just good way. The same way, Lakshmi will also be in a position to have some good familiarization on that front.
It is going to be being a very long journey, but it will definitely become an integral part of the front office of a bank sooner than later.
Lakshmi is already a hit with customers, and City Union Bank now plans to deploy additional artificial intelligence robots at its key branches to help customers and take banking to new heights. Well, with that, it's a wrap up for now. But
Yes, we have got a thing. So sample also I have shown you, right? So this is what happened before COVID, and currently there is a process going on to overcome or to implement this option in all the banking sectors. So many banks are ready to go for artificial intelligence services. Okay, so and during the period of COVID situations, and many employees were sent off. Okay, the reduce of employees in banks also happened. So next is we are going to see about fintech companies. This is the financial tech companies gives major contributions to our Indian financial sectors. Okay. So provide many services through the technological wise. They have signed a deed of MOU with the companies, and they provide software solutions, applications. So currently we are using the apps, right? So for developing the apps and taking the business to the next module. So this company has invested many of their time and money in getting the things to the next generation to get good services rendered by banking services. Next is a digital only bank. Digital only bank is the bank which has been can be accessed using the platform, IT platform, which is a paperless and a branchless module. This has been created from the traditional system to overcome the operations. It is a high-speed banking facilities and at a lower cost or lower transaction charges is provided. These virtual banks are ideal choice for the current fast-paced world. Next is e-checks. This technology has been developed in the US, which will replace the conventional paper checks in India. Thus, to include these method of e-checks and make it mandatory, a negotiable instrument act has been included in the amendment. So, Banking Act has given an amendment for the e-checks also. Electronic clearance, that is ECS. You would have come across this word. It is a thing which has been used for making payments to getting services prior and paying the money later on. Okay. Electronics clearance through giving an authorization to the banks to provide the money at the time period. ECS is an electronic system that is used to make the payments and receipts that are in bulk. The payments need to be similar in nature, which can be similar in account and representing in nature, repetitive in nature. Thus, the facility is specifically benefiting to government agencies and companies that make or receive large payments, bulk payments. So, colleges, schools, for making payments, they also rely on this type of things. They can give a check, single check, and they can give the details about the concerned person with the account number. The banks will be processing the payment, the transfer of the payment. Next is EFT, electronic fund transfer. This is a system to transfer money from one bank to another bank, which is very useful. And currently, we can using Google, Paytm, Airtel payments, and mobile big apps also. Okay, so we have to give the detail about the bank's account number, branch, and IFSC code. So that will be helpful for the system to transfer the money from one end to another. Okay, without any delay. Okay. It is quickly and correctly sending the amount to the beneficiary. So using this method, we can transfer money to international banks also. It has been currently availed for all customers. In the system, we can get informations about the we can give the concerned parties whom we want to pay money, and accordingly the banks would transfer the money to that particular person in a short time. So the final thing is automated teller machine, so which has been used very vastly by our country. So each and every places we can see a ATM machine, right? So in a city limits or in a village limits, you can see ATM machines. So each and every persons are ready to use the facility provided, and currently we get services of CDM also through ATM machines, and we can also print or get the informations of getting information about the passbook, printing the passbook through ATM machines also. It has reduced the manpower effect inside the bank. Okay. So you can take money 24/7 at anywhere, at any time. You can get money. That is what ATM is. It also provides transfer of money through ATMs. You can give request of check statements, and also you can change the MPIN there are many options have been updated in this. And currently, one more thing is done by banking sectors, giving the point of sale terminals. That is what the swiping machine. So, and also you can withdraw money from your debit card through authorized persons. Okay, they are given this type of authorized person by Government of India to provide money at the swiping area itself. Okay. And finally, these innovative banking innovations has given or it has been given to overcome the pandemic. It means something new. It's not something new. It may be existing, and it is also applicable for the banking sector. These are the many. There are many sections in the banks which are going through and have gone through innovation in recent past pandemic situation. There are no longer restriction to traditional method. Thus, the increase of the business avenues and capture the new market banking or restoring to innovation methods during and after the pandemic. So, I would like to conclude my session by saying that there are many things happened during the pandemic, and we are just overcoming, and many good and many bad happened. But in the banking scenarios, we have gone a miles, or we have started a new generation builded through these methods. I once again conclude my session, and it is open for you any queries. If you have any queries, you can just.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was very informative section. Students, if you have any queries, kindly ask sir. Okay, now I request, we are moving to the end of the session. I request uh, Ms. Uma Maheshwari, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Bank Management Department, to propose the vote of thanks.
Jai Shri Krishna. Good morning, everyone. I take an immense pleasure in delivering vote of thanks for today's event. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Speaker, Dr. M. Karthikeyan Sir, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day, sir. A special thanks to our Secretary, Shri Ashok Kumar Mundra, sir, our principal, Dr. Santosh Babu, sir, for providing immense support to make the webinar successful. I extend my gratitude to Dr. B. Vijay Kumar, sir, head of the department, to organize the webinar. I also thank our department faculties and students for attending the session. Thank you, everyone, once again for making it a great success.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I once again thank Dr. M. Karthikeyan, sir, for accepting our invitation and presenting the webinar for us and our students. It was very informative, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming and presenting this webinar.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity provided. I once again
Okay,
thank
sir.
Dr.
You're welcome.
HOD Sir Vijay Kumar Sir and Uma Maheshwari ma'am for giving me a wonderful vote of thanks. I would like to thank again Suganya ma'am for keep on asking me and following me for this session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again.
You're welcome,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Students, now I'm sending you the feedback link in this chat box. Kindly go and fill it there Okay, and you will be getting your certificates. Okay, students, feedback link has been provided in the chat box. Students, go and fill the forms. Okay, now I'm winding up the section. Thank you, sir. Finally, I'm wishing you all the best. Dr. Karthikeyan, sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, all other faculty members. And thank you, my dear students. Thank you so much for attending this webinar and making it a great success. Thank you so much, all. Thank you.